Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me. This is a new type of thing for me, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through, and let me move this out of the way. I got a brand new setup I got to get used to here. My chat's a little bit out of the way, so I won't be able to see it that well. Hopefully my audio is fine. Looks like I got one viewer right now, which is great. Through the YouTube, it looks like. So what I want to do is I want to go through, I'm going to do Cryptoponics. This is a brand new thing. It's Cryptoponics. And I've rebranded my YouTube channel. I've rebranded my Twitch channel, and I've rebranded DLive. So you'll see now it's, I have a Cryptoponics YouTube channel. You're welcome to come over here. I'm multi-streaming to YouTube and to Twitch and to DLive all at once. And I'm going to be covering everything from cryptocurrencies to aquaponics to beer brewing to culinary arts to photography to art to the list goes on and on. So I'm going to be covering a bunch of different stuff, but primarily I'm going to be covering Cryptoponics as my main focus. And like I said, I've rebranded my YouTube. I'm going to close that out. You can see that. I've rebranded Twitch right now for some reason. Okay, so, yeah, gotcha. It looks like it posted to Twitch to the chat, but it's not streaming to chat to Twitch for some reason. Anyway, I rebranded Twitch to Cryptoponics as well. The new channel is twitch.tv/Cryptoponics to give you an update on that. Likewise, and this is one where, okay, so I checked it. I was making sure I was streaming over here. DLive is very interesting, and I'll show you why I think DLive is maybe the best place to come watch me on, and I'll show you in a minute. But anyway, DLive, you can see I've rebranded here also. It's DLive TV/Cryptoponics, so it's the same thing. Everything's branded to Cryptoponics. Cryptoponics is, and DLive, you remember we get Lino. You get lemons and ice cream, and it turns into Lino. And that's what I wanted to talk about real quick is why I think DLive's probably the best. I'm going to stream to everything, to all three platforms, but I think DLive's the best again. Is in the past I never really knew what a lemon was worth, right? Or what's an ice cream worth, or what's diamond worth, or you know what I mean? We never. And so today I just did a quick check, and let me close this out. So that's my DLive account branded to Cryptoponics, but I found this article, and it's on the DLive.tv website, so it's pretty official. It's from DLive themselves, and what they say in here is after October 25th, Lino is they're changing the in-app digital assets. So they're creating this thing as an IDA. It's a token created by the dApp developers on the blockchain, blah blah blah. But the most interesting thing down here is what I found is Lino points will be replaced by lemon coins at a 1-to-1 rate. So one lemon is one Lino, okay? So it's a 1-to-1 rate. So each lemon coin is a token on the Lino blockchain created by DLive that can be transacted within DLive as 0.012 US dollars. So that's 1 cent, 1.2 cents, which I find very interesting because what they're saying is that a lemon is a penny. We'll call it a penny. It's a 1.2, right? So if you go back to the, I should have kept the tab open. I closed it, unfortunately. If you keep it open, if you have 100 lemons, which it didn't seem that hard to gain those lemons. I had 24 of them, I think. And I really didn't stream that much and didn't have that many viewers. But it looks to me to be that each lemon is convertible to 1.2 cents, which is pretty exciting to me. Now, so once you start getting a footprint and you start getting a bigger audience, I believe it's going to be pretty easy to start making some real cash. And they talked about trying to stabilize the coin. And this article, it's at, you see the path here, it's 2019-10-13. DLive issues its own IDA on Lino blockchain. But in here, they talked about stabilizing the coin value so that streamers have a consistent income and they know what they can count on. So anyway, to me, this is I still have to figure out, and if somebody can help me with this, I still have to figure out down in the comments, still have to figure out how you convert lemons into, into dollars, right? That's the ultimate goal. But it looks like you're going to, and they're starting to put a value to it, which is very exciting. So anyway, with that, that's the introductory information. Let's close that out. I'm going to do some crypto, I'm going to do some electrical, and then I'm going to do some aquaponics in this episode, okay? And I'm going to also show you my mining. Let's look at the markets right now. So if I close that out, we'll just take a general look at the markets, and you will see that Bitcoin is down to 8,776 US dollars. It's pretty brutal right now. The other thing I've always kind of noticed on this, it took me a while to learn this, but for those people who are mining cryptocurrency, you will see that on Coinmarketcap and other websites like this as well, if they have a star behind them, they're not a mineable. If they have a star behind, they are not mineable. If there's no star behind, they are mineable, right? So, for example, you can mine Bitcoin and you can mine Ethereum. Bitcoin's at 87.76. Ethereum's holding in there pretty well. It didn't drop as much, so Bitcoin went down 3%. The coins I've been mining right now is Beam. So we'll take a quick look at Beam. And Beam's down 4.2%, we'll call it. It's at 65.11. So that's pretty ugly. It's ranked 131. It used to be like 99. It was in the 90s earlier when I first started mining it, but we'll get through that. So we got Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Tether, obviously. Tether with a $4.1 billion market cap. That's pretty, circulating supply. Well, market cap's, 4.1 billion. Litecoin, I got some Litecoin as well. Not a lot, but 62. The market is really doing poorly. But you see again, Monero, I have some Monero, and I hodled my coins. That's a mineable coin again, and anything with an asterisk is a what would I call it? A token. You can't mine them. That's the point, right? I like mining and then hodling, trying to hold on for the long run. I believe in the long-term sustainability of cryptocurrency. So you see here, for example, TrueUSD. Again, it's a token. It's issued. You can't mine it. Can't mine. Bitcoin Gold you can mine, etc., etc. And I don't want to go through all these. The coins I want to look at, SafeCoin I mined a bunch. I have a lot of SafeCoins, so we'll take a quick look at that real quick. If anybody puts comments, I'll kind of add your coins to the searches I'm looking at. 3.2 cents. So that was up to, at one point, it was up to 8 cents per coin at one point. I know we can look at the graph here. Let me look at the graph. I know I saw it. Green is the US dollar price, right? Yep. And 8 cents is here on green. Yeah, see, so it wasn't that long ago. It was 8 cents. And then they came out with the, what do they call it? Safe nets or something. And what happened was they started issuing a lot of the coins to the people who staked it basically on the master nodes. And once they did that, the price seemed to really plummet pretty hard. Well, this was also when Bitcoin went from 10,000-ish. What was Bitcoin up to? I'm sure recently it was up to, I thought it was 10,000 something. Let's take a quick look. Price, really? Come on. Yeah. Price was 10,300. And when was it? That was just June 25th. It was 11,790 for a brief period. So when Bitcoin took the big slide, all the altcoins fell, and they fell harder than Bitcoin did. And we're kind of trying to hold on for dear life right now. So I'm going to look at Safe. I'm going to look at XMR, Monero, because I like to just keep in touch. I'm not making any transactions at this point, but 62. See, Monero is pretty ugly too. It's ranked 13 as far as market cap, I think, but it's doing pretty poorly. So anyway, when we're talking about Beam, let's take a quick look. And people have been talking about profitability lately. Is it profitable? Isn't it profitable? What what I do is I've been mining Beam through LeafPool. It's pretty big. It does typically it does about 25% of the world's hashing power. It comes through LeafPool. And what I've been doing is I've been just tracking this, and I'll show you my calculator real quick. But what I do is I copy the amount of Beam I have. Let me refresh this so it's an updated number. Make sure I have an updated number for it. Yeah, it was. And if I have, so here's my hashing history. I got a couple rigs on it. You can see I got a 1070 Ti hashing at 37 solutions. Rig 1, which is it's 5 1070s, and it's doing 170 souls. And then rig 2 I have is, it's a mutt rig. It's got two 1070s and 1060 and a 970. And then I have an AMD card on it. So that's hashing at 113 souls right now is the average hash rate, right? And that's a 5-hour hash rate, I'm pretty sure. This is the like instantaneous hash rate that updates. So with that, what I've been doing is, I'll show you, I'm going to copy this number real quick. And then I'm a 6503, it shows is the current. And what I will do is, let me make sure I have to turn I got to get used to this, guys, so bear with me. Okay, I have my spreadsheet up. So what I do is I have a tracking spreadsheet here. And just so we are on the same page, I'll update this. The time and date it goes to now. Whenever you update it, automatically updates. And it was what here? I can't remember the, let me look up what that was real quick. It was 6503. 6503. So I have a spreadsheet in Excel. It's a tracker, right? So it gives me the date and time. It basically tells me the delta coins that I have. If I send money to the wallet, I put it in here, and then it does the math automatically, so it knows when I sent coins over, and it tracks, you know, the rate of coin growth, if you will. Right now, I do it at basically 7 o'clock every morning-ish, sort of, 7:30. So half a day has gone by, 0.53 a day, and I'm currently, coins per day, my rate is 6.22. The reason that's green is I've done conditional formatting on this, that if it's one standard deviation below, it turns it red, and if it's one standard deviation above, it turns, or more, it turns it green. So I got conditional formatting in here. And you can see I'm earning, right now I'm earning coins at a really good clip at this moment, right? And part of that is because Beam is not a profitable coin right now, or it's really weird how this works, but so my income per day for my mining is 4.05 for all of my cards. I just put it generically. I do have 10 GPUs mining on it. Dollars per GPU per day, 40 cents. So it's 40 cents per GPU. I'm using 1179 watts. That's reported from the software. My electricity cost for that is $280. I have formulas in here where I'm calculating the, my current electricity cost, etc. Profit per day, $1.24 for my cards, my 10 cards. Or each card is only making 12 cents per day, okay? That's pretty pathetic. Now, you ask, why am I mining Beam? I'm mining Beam because I'm hodling the coins, and I'm expecting the price. Beam not too long ago was $1.60, right? When Bitcoin was at 10,000, 11,000, Beam was at $1.60, right? So if I come in here just imaginary, right? If I come in here and just imaginary, put in $1.65, let's say it goes back to that value eventually, right? I hodl long enough. Oh, geez, each card made 74 cents per day, right? So that's why I'm hodling. Now you say, what's the chance that it'll go back to $1.65? Who knows, right? It just was back in June, it was $1.65. I think if Bitcoin goes back, it may pull the altcoins with it, and because I've hodled, I don't have to sell for my electricity, so I'm just accumulating coins, right? So that's the good news. Yeah, so that's Beam. The other, I am hashing some XMR right now, so let me get this back on. I'm going to have to figure out how to do this better. I think I know how to do this, actually, I watched, but we'll figure that out later. Turn these on. Okay, the other coin that I'm hashing is XMR, and I only got one card, and I got a 580. I got a 570 sitting idle doing nothing. I just haven't taken the time. But if I go to Ethermine, is where I'm mining my Ethereum. And this card, week after week after week, this 580, it's been producing, it's been breaking even basically. Is I have to earn right here. If this is like 185 estimated earnings, I'm breaking even with this card. And when I say breaking even, the amount of electricity I'm using is the card's paying for that amount. So it's not a lot. I'm earning about $2.65, $2.70 a week on one card. But I'm paying that amount of electricity, so it's as if I'm buying Ethereum anyway. So, okay, so that's the Ethereum hashing, what I've been hashing, right? And I'll show you my rigs at some point, maybe. But like, if I have here, when I look at this, if I look at the Bean website here through LeafPool, I really like this website. It shows me my hash rates. It shows all, the nice information. And then it also shows this unconfirmed balance. So this is what you have unconfirmed. If this is greater than 0.6-ish, 0.65-ish, I'm making some decent coin as far as that goes, right? Now, when you say making decent coin, if the price falls to zero, obviously I have nothing. So, okay? So we will get off the beam there. What else are we going to cover? Monero we talked about. We looked at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's looking pretty ugly as far as today it fell quite a bit. 3% it's down. So the market is just so skittish, but I'm hoping, and I say I'm hoping, that's why I hodl, I'm hoping at some point this stuff picks up before the end of the year. But if it doesn't, I'll just keep, I'm going to keep hashing as long as it makes sense to hash. Once it doesn't make sense, and I'll show you a little bit more on this, I guess I'll do that right now. On my mining ROI calculator, let me turn that back on so you can see that. Okay, so you're looking at my mining ROI calculator right now, and what you're seeing here is, it's a nice calculator, but the one thing I'm not accounting for, well, two things I'm not accounting for. One thing is I am accounting for electricity, but this is electricity reported by the mining software. And for NVIDIA cards, it's pretty accurate, okay? But there's also a loss of efficiency for my power supply, and I haven't been accounting for that at all. I ordered one of those watt meters, and it's in the mail. It'll be shipped probably in the next week or so. I should be getting it. And once I get that, I'm going to plug the mining rigs into that and calculate my true wattage and get that in here. So then I actually have 3 HP power supplies with the breakout boards, and I'm going to make my own cables and everything, and I'll video all that to show you how I do it, okay? And I got some more exciting stuff too. I'm going to try to actually do some real advanced electronic work on it that we'll be talking about later in this episode. So hang in there. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the rig wattage and then find out what the true electrical cost is. That's number one. And then, so I have to add that in here. And then the other thing I have to add in here is what I'm going to call replacement costs, right? The one thing I don't see any YouTubers accounting for is the replacement cost of these GPUs I'm mining on, right? So right now, 1070s are going for about $200 per card. I paid $300 per card, so I have $100 into each card, right? And I've been mining on them. I haven't tracked all my profits, but that $100, if you say, oh, you bought them for $300, and let's say I'm going to sell them for $100, then there's a $200 replacement cost that I got to factor in here somewhere, right? And that's part of the game. And if people don't account for that, then you're not going to be able to upgrade your hardware, if you understand what I'm saying. So in the future, I have to add that in here. Once I get my watt, people call them kilowatts or watt meters or whatever they're called. Once I get that, I can measure the electricity, and then I'm going to put in a purchase price of my hardware, and then a anticipated resale price of the hardware. So I'll get a differential price on the hardware. And knowing that because eventually I would like to buy RTX 2080s or 2070s, right? And it takes money to do that. Well, these cards have to earn the money to do that, right? So That's the part that nobody accounts for, and in my opinion, it's kind of criminal not to. So we will look at that in a second. Okay, so back to cryptocurrency news. Let's get back here. There was something. Why am I not seeing it? I must have closed it already. Let me check here real quick. I don't know how it got closed. Well, I just must have clicked too many tabs, right? So there was a. Let me find it real quick. Well, no, I talked about that already. Yeah, I talked about the DLive and the 1.2 cents per lemon, which is really exciting to me if that's a true fact. Okay. So let's get into the real cryptocurrency stuff I'm working on, and let me tell you what I'm doing. Welcome to anybody that's joining it. Gamer Scroll. Yo, the audio. What's that? What's that mean? Can you hear me? Gamer, can you hear me? Check 1 2. Am I echoed or what? Is that better? Yo, the audio is supposed to sound like that. What does like that mean? What does like that mean? That's kind of a generic. That's pretty generic to say it that way. So I said this is on a new computer, and I'm trying to get my OBS and my my streaming settings. So I'm thinking, yes, you were echoing. It's fine now. Okay, so I know what I did. I got to take this out. Hold up. Like I said, this is a new computer that I got set up. So let me delete this real quick, and that will take out that issue for the future. I'm glad you said something, gamer. It's going to make it miserable for everybody that's been watching up to this point. So anyway, what I want to do, let me tell you what my goal here, and let me insert a new page here. Give me a quick second. I'll switch over, and I will share this with you. So, oh, that's not the best view either, is it? Okay, I'll just make sure I work down on the bottom here. Most people that mine cryptocurrency, what they do, of course I know you, gamer. I actually sub to you on my streaming channel. I have a memory, and Oreo is back too. Oreo's been around before as well. So welcome back, Oreo, and welcome back, gamer. Of course, like I said, gamer, if you my streaming channel, which if you go to the streaming channel, there's a video you need to watch, and watch the whole thing, okay? So watch the entire video on the streaming channel, and you'll get some information, okay? And gamer says, Oreo, what's up? So anyway, most people that, well, a lot of people that, the smaller people that are mining cryptocurrency, they buy PSUs pre-configured, okay? And these PSUs have what's called rails inside of them, okay? So a rail is, there's 3.3 volt rail, there's a 5.0 volt rail, and there's a 12 volt rail, okay? And what this does, I just want to see if you remember me, Ethan. Of course I remember you. What this does is provides different power supplies for your computer, okay? And your computer is your mining rig too. So if you want to think this is a power supply, and it provides power to what we'll call is your motherboard, okay? It supplies power to your motherboard, but it also supplies, for miners, it also supplies power to your GPUs, we'll call it, right? Now, you can mine with ASICs, or you can mine with CPUs. I'm not going to get into that, but generically, this is what you got, a power supply that's bought commercially, and it provides power to the motherboard, and it provides power to the GPU. Now, for those who are poor and starting out, you're not a big cryptocurrency miner, you buy cheap power supplies. So typical is 80% efficient is what you buy. And these 80% efficient power supplies, 20% of your electricity is being lost, okay? And if we look back at the spreadsheet, I'm not going to turn it back on right now, but if you looked at it, my electricity cost is $2.80 per day for what I'm doing. So I spend $2.80, but 20% more of that is wasted in electrical loss through this transformer, if you want to think of it that way, right? It's taking your 110 power from your wall and transforming it into 3.3 volt, 5 volt, and 12 volt direct current, okay? And those voltages are given to provided to the motherboard and to your GPUs for the miners, right? And most of your electricity is used over here at the GPUs for miners. So what I'm looking at is recently I bought HP server power supply, and the HP server power supplies, instead of having 80% efficiency, they have 92% efficiency, okay? So I did the calculation, and effectively the HP server will pay out in 2 months of electrical efficiency just by running more efficient, 2 months worth, right? But the only problem is that the HP, let me move the GPU out of the way here. The only problem is I want this HP server power supply to replace the commercial, like a Corsair or something like that you buy. And there's different grades. You can buy different efficiencies here, but the higher the efficiency, you start paying a lot more money. Whereas these server power supplies are very cheap. But they only provide 12 volt power, okay? So I'm trying to figure out a way that I can provide 3.3 and what's called 3.3 and 5 volt rails is what I'm trying to do, okay? And by providing rails, what I want to do is I want to draw these just as a line, okay? Well, draw them as a 2-line because I want a 3.3 volt positive and negative, right? And I want a 5 volt positive and negative, and hopefully you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. Good. So hopefully I can figure out a way to do this, right? Otherwise, what you see all these other YouTubers doing and other people, I've searched the net for, extensively trying to figure out a solution to this. But what everybody else does is they'll get this HP server that's running 92% efficient. They'll use the 12 volt rails to supply their GPUs, that's the main load. And then they do this, and they use the commercial power supply, what I'd call a typical PSU for a computer. They'll use that to supply power to the motherboard, right? So you're still running part of it at 80%, and then you're running the other part of it at 92%, and they're kind of disconnected, and it's ugly, and you have to keep both power supplies, which is not good, right? So what I'm trying to figure out how to do is how can I, off this one HP server, I have 16, what's called on my breakout board, I have 16 6-pin outlets, okay? So this will represent a 6-pin outlet. I'll just draw little pins in there real quick. Let's go like this. We'll draw a little pin just for fun because it is so fun. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, and then I'll go like this, and I'll draw 6 pins. Okay, there's my 6-pin. So I have 16 of these, right? And by having 16, you're going to have enough connections to supply all your GPUs. Plus, I want to try to transform some of these pins to supply the 3.3 volt rail and the 5 volt rail, okay? So if I could get somebody that's either crypto related or electrical, like electrical engineer, somebody to look at this and tell me if I'm off my rockers, okay? So I want to use one of these pins. I'm going to go like this. I want to use one of the pins. Now, what it is three of these connections on the 6-pin have 12 volt connectors, okay? So I want to use one of them to provide, let me undo that real quick. Let me talk about the other part. Let me get into this. I got to go here. I got to turn some stuff on. I'm going to have to get more fluid at this, by the way. Okay. No, not that one. That's the one I want. Okay. So if you go out to the web, I found this website called, yeah, I also got to get used to my new setup here. Welcome to whoever's watching. I'm trying to solve an advanced electrical problem associated with cryptocurrency. So if you go to the web, there's a website called moddiy.com. They sell all types of connectors and stuff like that. It's a really good resource. What you find out here is they got the pinouts for all the different computer cables, right? So if you look through this, they sell these connectors. You can buy them through them, which is really nice. And then they give you all the pinouts and they tell you what the voltages are. And if you look at this, you'll see 3.3, you'll see 5 volt, you'll see 12 volt, and that's pretty much it, okay? So those are the voltages that are associated with this 24-pin connector. This connector is a CPU, it's a motherboard connector, okay? And I'm going to do this as a 20+4 just for backward compatibility. There's other cables called a Molex. What is this? This is the 8-pin EPS. So this is I'm going to do this as a 4+4. And what you see here is it has 12 volt on one side and grounds on the other side. So this is an easy cable. I'm not going to have to transform any voltage for that one. That's a CPU cable as well. That connects to the motherboard. And I'm going to do that as a 4+4. The next cable, yeah, you see it's all ground 1 through 4, and then 5 through 8 is all +12, right? So that's an easy cable. Molex cables, on the other hand, if we look at the, what is this? This is a 4+4. Okay, so he shows a separate one for the 4+4, which is fine. Then you get your 6-pin. I know those are so easy. 6-pin, you got 3 pins at 12 volt, 3 pins at ground. So if we look at it, 1 through 3 is 12 volt, 12 volt, 12 volt, and 4 through 6 is all ground cables. So that's going to be easy. And you can convert 6-pin to 8-pin by taking the extra 2 pins and just connecting them to grounds. You double up on grounds. So that's all it is. So easy enough. And what I really, he comes in here and he tells you the voltage rail, and he tells you the expected amps and the wattages for what each thing is, right? So he goes through the 8-pin, same thing. Like I said, is the 8-pin has the same 12 volts, but the rest of it's all ground. And he gives you what? Yeah, 150 watts, et cetera, right? So we got that pin out. Then we got the 4-pin, this is the Molex, right? This looks like a Molex to me, I think. Is this the Molex? Yes, this is the Molex. And it takes a 5 volt and a 12 volt. So again, I got another, remember we had some cables that took 3.3 volts. Now I got one that takes another, the Molex takes a 5 volt and a 12 volt, okay? You got to keep that in mind for the Molex. And I do need Molex and I do need SATA. So if we look at the SATA takes 3.3 volts, it takes 5 volts, it takes 12 volts. So there's 3 voltage levels associated with the SATA cable. Now I've read articles that basically tell you that the 3.3 isn't used on SATA anymore, but the standard calls for it, so you really got to provide it, okay? So again, and then he gives you an estimated maximum current. Now he's not saying this is the current that's going to be actually used, but he's given an estimated maximum current. So what I'm looking at is how can I provide, and let me go back real quick. You have to forgive me because I got to toggle these things briefly to get what I want. What am I looking for? Yeah, I'm looking for that one. Thank you. So what I'm trying to do is I want to sell. So I have a bunch of these power supply units that I bought that are typically 80% efficient. And I think I could sell them for $30 to $40 each, right? And I don't know if I bought a box of 6 of them and I have other ones. So I probably have 10 plus power supplies. I just want to get rid of these power supplies. But to do that, I need to make 3.3 volt rails and 5 volt rails, right? The 12 volt is my HP server power supply that's 92% efficient, and it has a breakout board with 16 6-pins. It provides all the 12 volt. I made sure it had enough power to provide all the 12 volt usage I would ever need, and it's going to provide all the motherboard power I ever need, but I need to convert the 12 volt into 3.3 volt rails and 5 volt rails. And I've searched, like I said, I've searched and searched and searched the internet far and wide. And let me show you what I came up as a solution. And I would like people to comment on this if you can, please. Tell me if I'm off my rocker, okay? So let me switch. I got to switch again. I'm going to have to figure this out a little better. I saw a video actually where he did this. This was pretty cool. I do this. Yes, perfect. So I'm back to the internet, okay? So when you go out to the internet, there's that website that does the moddiy.com pages, power supply connectors, and pinouts. He gives you all this beautiful information. He doesn't give you the actual amperage, and he doesn't give you the actual wattage. He gives you, based on the cable sizes, he gives you what he would calculate as a maximum, okay? The actual is going to be something substantially less than this, okay? So I've kind of gone through, and there's another guy, there's a nerd, there's a guy I subscribe to, and what's his channel? It's DroneBot, something like DroneBot. I can't remember the exact name. But on his channel, he does all types of electrical projects, right? But he doesn't seem very accessible. So I've been watching and I've been researching, and there's this thing called a buck converter. Okay, now I'm not an electrical engineer. I'm not, but I'm smart, so I can make sense of these things. Okay, and what this buck converter does, I'm gonna click on this one. This is from Amazon. What this does is it takes up to 300 watts of power, 20 amps is what it can handle. And if you look at it, it says the input voltage can go from 6 volts to 40 volts. So I'm going to be inputting 12 volts into this, so it's within the range of input, right? The step-down converter can accurately adjust output voltage and current. Now, watching DroneBot guy, what you do is, as soon as I get off, it mouses away. These little set screws here on these little blue things, you turn those to adjust the voltage. So you hook up electricity, you hook up your 12 volt in and your positive and negative into this thing, and then you put wires out and you have to solder them or whatever, get them hooked up, right? Or no, I think they got these little screws where you screw the stuff in, yeah. And you take your multimeter and you literally screw these screws until you get 3.3 volts coming out, right? Now, the beauty of this thing is it takes 6 volts to 40 volts. Well, 12 is between those two, so I can easily do that. And it says the efficiency can be, I really don't care about efficiency because I'm not going to be using that much power. I just need the 3.3 and 5 volt rails are not significant power rails, but I need to provide them, right? So I don't care about the efficiency, blah, blah, blah. Wiring is convenient, blah, blah, blah. Converting, okay, where's the output? Oh, you got to go down to the bottom. That's right. On this one, you have to go down to the bottom to read the specs on it. And down here, it tells you input is 6 to 40 volt DC, 10 to 40 is suggested. So I'm going to be putting 12 in, so that's perfect, right? Output voltage, 1.2 volts to 36 volts. Well, 3.3 is what I want, and 5 is what I want, which is easily within the range, right? Output current, 20 amps max, 15 suggested. 20 amps is a pretty high current flow, right? Now, if you go to the guy here on the pinouts, and you look at like the 24, he says 3.3, the max is 24 amps, right? So if I bought one of these, now I'm going to argue, I'm kind of guessing here, and I'm going to take an old CPU. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to video it all, and I'll make a video out of it, okay? But I'm going to take an old CPU. I'm guessing it's not even half of that, right? So I'm going to take an old CPU I have, and I'm going to hook a buck converter, set it to 3.3 volts. I'm going to take another buck converter, set it to 5 volts. I'm creating my own rails, if you will. And then I'm going to make a 24-pin cable, and I'm going to make all my cables, and I'm going to hook them up to the CPU and see if I fry the CPU, right? The reason I say it's not even close to this amperage is if you look at the wattage here, he's saying 79 watts. That corresponds to the amps, right? So I don't think if you asked me like a motherboard, a typical motherboard, and I'm not talking about the CPU under load because I'm not going to be mining off of the CPU. I'm just going to, all the CPUs running to handle the GPUs, right? So a typical a typical motherboard is going to be pulling 100 watts maximum, right? So if you look at this, you say, oh, the plus 12 volts for the 24 pin, the plus, you know what I mean? These numbers are so inflated. This is, in reality, this is probably like 10 or 20 watts at the most. So this is going to be like just a few amps, right? Similarly, like here, all these have to be derated, if you understand what I'm saying. So my plan, because I got to do that. Now the 8-pin, the 4 plus 4 is all 12 volts, so I don't have to worry about that. The Molex and the SATA, let's look at those real quick. Where was the Molex? Molex. Where? Here's the Molex. See, he estimates for the Molex, for the 5 volt rail, he estimates 25 watts, right, max, at 5 amps. So, I mean, again, the Molex doesn't pull any wattage, right? So that'll be nothing. And then the SATA is the same thing. If I look at the SATA, maximum current per circuit, here it is. So the SATA for 3.3, he's saying 1454 watts, right? And I know they tell you with the SATAs that if you put two SATAs together, you shouldn't run more than 75 watts on the 12 volt rail, right? Because you see, and that actually makes sense to me. So if you took two SATAs and plugged them into those cable connectors, it goes to a 6-pin. The 6-pin is a 75 watt rated connector, and two SATAs gives you 108 watts maximum on the 12 volt rail. So you would be running the max on that, but on these, I'm going to argue that these are derated also. So my plan, and anyone with power PSU experience or background, please help me out here, right? So, so again, what I'm planning on doing here is taking this buck converter, and this is the big one. So the big one does 20 amps. It can clearly do all of the voltages I need, okay? It talks about a good efficiency, which I really don't care that much about. What I really want to do, my main goal is to have one PSU, you know, provide all voltages, right? Provide all the rails. So yeah. So that's what I'm looking at there for that one. Now, in the big scheme of things, this one here does 20 amps, right? I found another one here that does 12 amps, right? So the 20 amp one, each buck converter costs $8 per converter. The 12 amp one is actually more expensive. It has some other stuff. Who knows exactly? This one actually, you can see there's a little screen on it and tells you stuff, right? But I don't need that stuff, right? So then I found a 4-pack of 5 amps. So because what I was trying to think about is, well, could I run these in parallel, right? And I asked a guy about, can you run them in parallel? And the answer was kind of like, yeah, you can, but it's difficult and you don't want to do it that way. And you have to have current limiters and you lose efficiency and blah, 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 right? So I'm thinking about not buying these. There's 4 of them in a pack for 5 amps and 4 into 12. They're $3 each, right? Maybe I'll buy a pack of these just for fun. And maybe I could short out some more motherboards. We'll see how that goes. I need a crimping tool for the pins because I'm making cables out the wazoo. Then I found this one, which is a 12 amp. Okay, so this was 5 amp. This was what, 12 amp. 12 amp there. Here's another 12 amp for $15.85 each. I left it in my shopping cart just because I should probably just get rid of that, right? Because that's a sucky one. 160 watt, and it can supply everything I want. It's 12 amp, but where was the other 12 amp? 5 amp. Here was a 12 amp here, and I think I added this one, 12 amp, $15.99, $15.85. Okay, they're the same price. It doesn't matter. I'm going to leave it there. Lastly, I found these, okay, and I'm going to buy these and I'm going to try these, and it may, again, I may be stupid, but what these are, it's a 10-pack, okay? So you get 10 of these babies in 1 pack. The little screw on the top, the little blue screw there, is how you adjust your voltage again. It provides 3 volt to 40 volt as the input, so I'm doing 12 volts, so I'm right in perfect line with that, right? And it says the input voltage must be 1.5 volts higher than the output. That's perfect, right? Because I'm way bigger than that. Output voltage 1.5 to 35, so I can have output voltage of 3.3 and an output voltage of 5, right? And you get 10 of them in this pack, right? And it says here, factory default stays a high voltage. You need 7 to 15 circles before this voltage starts ramping down. 1 circle of the screw means 1 volt change, right? It's minus plus or minus 1 volt. So every full turn of the screw there, it adjusts it by a volt. So I mean, I think you could get this pretty accurate, right? Now it only puts out, if you look at this, it only puts out how many amps? Is this 5 amp? I think it was, or 3 amp. 3 amp. The output current is 3 amp. So what I plan on doing is buying this 10-pack because it's so cheap. I mean, what is this thing? This is a $12, $13. It's $1.30 per $1.30 US per buck converter, and you wire it up just like the other ones. If you look at the corners of all these, they got in and outs, the out plus and out minus, and in plus and in minus. So they're pretty straightforward to wire up, right? And for testing, what I want to test is I want to hook one of these up and put it to 3.3 volts and see. So that's the hardware I'm looking at buying. I'm going to buy this. Well, let me talk about the hardware first, and I'm going to switch over. Okay. So I plan on buying this 10-pack. I plan on buying. I'll probably buy one of these 4 packs of 5 amps for fun. I'm going to buy 4 of these, and let me tell you why. I bought 3 HP server power supplies, so I know for sure I need to have at least 3 of these. So, because if I could get 3 of these, if these can do the 5 volt, for example, I mean, technically I should just buy 1, right? I should buy 1, test it. I should buy 1 of everything, and if it fries out, then I know I can't use them. But what I plan on trying to do, okay, so I think I'm going to buy 4 of these. I can buy 4. That's $32. That's not bad. And I'm sure shipping will go up, whatever. I'm going to buy 4 of those. I'm going to buy 1 pack of these 4 5 ampers. You know, I got to get some wire strippers and the crimping tools. I got to get that anyway, so I'll buy some. I saw some Chinese website had it for like $2. I got to go check that out yet. These same wire strippers were like $2 on a Chinese website, Alibaba type thing. And then I'm going to buy 1 of these, 1 10-pack. So that's what I'm going to have for hardware. And I'm going to leave that up. So last but not least, well, not last, but let me go back to, I want to turn that off. So what I'm going to do with the hardware, let me make sure I'm over here, is I'm going to take my HP server. I'm going to take a 6-pin. I'm going to take, we're going to pretend this is the 12 volt positive, and I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to hook it up to the, let me undo that real quick. Excuse me. I'm going to make that my buck converter, okay? And thank God I found DroneBot. I think that's his channel. I found his channel because he's taught me a lot. You should go subscribe to him. I'll have to put his link in my video because he's very knowledgeable on electronics. Anyway, so let's ignore, let me just delete these, right? So let's pretend I'll make a big breakout board, and I'm not going to draw all 16. I'm not going to draw all 16 of my 6-pin connectors on the breakout board, but there's 16 of these, okay? And let's pretend these are the plus ones up here on the top. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the positive of that, and I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to hook it up to the buck converter right there. I'm going to take the negative, and I'm going to hook it up to the buck converter right there. So now I got the positive in, 12 volts coming in, right? These other ones I'm going to use for other things, okay? I could use these other pins to supply power to other things. Now, I think I said the positive was on the top. So what I'll do is on the outlet, I'll turn the little screw until I get 3.3 volts on the end of this cable. So on the end of the cable, Eric the Sauce God says, dude, you're too smart for me. This is a project I'm working on, Eric, and welcome to the stream, by the way. And I see you said, what's up? So on the buck converter, I'm going to take the outlet, positive outlet that's 3.3 volt, put it to this rail, we'll call it, okay? And I'm going to take the negative, and I'm going to go to this rail. So now I got 3.3 volt positive and negative, right? I'm going to do the same thing with the 5 volts. So the 5 volt positive will go to the buck. You got 12 volts coming in here, positive. You got 12 volt ground coming in here. And then coming out, I'm going to go like that to the rail and I'm going to do the little screw till I get 5 volts out here, right? So once I have the voltage out here, this is 3.3 volt. Any cable that requires 3.3 volt, let me set this up real quick. And I'm almost done, Eric, if you want to hang in, because I'm going to do a few more things that'll be fun. And welcome. So happy to see you, by the way. So happy to see you. Anything that requires 3.3 volt on those cables, what I'm going to do is come like this, and let me make sure I get that on the view. I'm going to go like that. I'll have a positive cable run, and then I'm going to do a negative cable for the other one. And Eric, if you haven't watched my video, I'm like nodding to everything you say. Well, I'm looking for somebody to help me with this too. I'm looking for somebody that's smarter than I am. I'm doing this test. It's going to cost me, what did I see? Maybe $50, maybe $60. And I have a couple old computers that are still working. And if I fry them out, right? So be it. It is what it is. It's a test. And I'm going to video the whole thing. So I'll have to have a fire extinguisher on standby too. Okay, this rail is going to be the 5 volt rail because I'm trying something. I couldn't find anything on the internet about this. There's no documents. There's no videos. Nobody's tried it, it seems like, and I'm going to. So you got the 5 volts. You're going to do the positive and the negative wires. So these are wires. And I have 100 meters, 100 feet. I have 100 feet of 16 gauge wire coming. I have shrink wrap coming. I have connectors coming. I have all the stuff I need. It's coming. Don't burn your house down. That's some good advice. I need your content. That's some good advice. So I'm trying to do something here that I don't think has ever been done. And I need some people to comment. And what I found though is by doing this, okay, this pays off in 2 months. I get my money back in 2 months just on electricity savings. So everything after 2 months is just profit, right? So I think the traditional PSU, it provides 3.3 volt rail, 5 volt rail, and a 12 volt rail. All the other YouTubers I've seen that mine cryptocurrency, like I said, what they do is they go out, they buy a 92% or 94% efficient server, and then they still have to keep this PSU, this power supply unit here, because they don't know how to provide the 5 volt or the 3 volt, right? And I think I can solve that. I've thought a lot about this, and I know for a fact I could do the 12 volt because other people have done this. This is easy. Everybody knows how to do this 12 volt part. Nobody that I've seen knows how to do this, and I think this is how you do it right here. This is what I'm going to try. I'm going to experiment with. I'm going to video. I'm going to document. I'm going to potentially blow up my stuff. And we'll see what happens, okay? So if anybody watching this knows more about this or knows about the trouble, originally, here's the other idea I had, just so we're clear. Now, this one for the 3.3, I'm going to use the tiny buck converter that does 3 amps. Let me put that in here. I'm going to try doing it with 3 amps first, right? I'm going to do a 3 amp version here. Now, you remember I'm buying 3 amp, I'm buying 5 amp, I'm buying 12 amp, and I'm buying 20 amp, okay? Now, for sure, and this is, I feel comfortable saying this, for sure I think the 20 amp can easily run the 5 volts. Now, I don't want to go less than 20 amp on the 5 volt. I could try it though. That's another experiment, right? Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do 20 amp, and then I'm going to do, 12 amp? Yeah, I'm buying the 12 amp. I'm going to see if the 20 amp works. If it does, then I'll step it down to 12 amp. If the 12 amp works, I'm going to do, what was my next one? 5 amp. If the 5 amp works, I'm doing them all. I'm going to do a whole series of videos on this, right? Or maybe it'll be one video and I'll just do it till I blow up my computers. And I think on this one, I want to, let me move this out of the way. On this one, want to go in opposite order, so it's going to go 3 amp, and then it'll go like 5 amp. If 3 amp doesn't work, it won't blow it up. It just won't be able to run, right? I think. I'll go 3, 5, 12, 12 amp. And if I have to, there's no way that the 3.3 volt is going to draw 20 amp. It's not going to do it. So, but this is the order I'm doing them in. Remember, these are $1. The 3 amp is a $1 buck converter. It's so cheap, right? It's like $1.20 or $1.40 or whatever it was. The 5 amps were getting a little pricier. The 12 amps and the 20 amps are, it starts turning in the real. These were $8 each, right? So I'll try this on my computers. I'll figure out, does it work? The reason I'm mentioning this is the other option I was thinking about is, but I don't think I want to do this now. Originally, I was considering, and I'll wrap this up next. Originally, I was considering doing something like this, where, let me get this over here real quick. I'll set it up so we can look at it nicely. I asked a guy if I could do this, and he said, well, I would suggest not to. It's an electrical guy from Romania that I emailed. And he said, no, I wouldn't try that, I think. But what I was thinking about doing is providing power to 5 cheap buck converters, the dollar ones. I was asking myself, why couldn't you do this, right? And doing them in parallel like this. Now this gets kind of, I read some stuff on the internet about this, and these are negative connections I'm doing now. And it basically said that, okay, so my theory was that I could take my 6-pin. I might blow up one of my server supplies too, my power supplies, by doing this. We'll have to figure that out eventually too. Poor computers. Well, hopefully they live, but we'll see. My theory was that if each one of these does 3 amps, right? So they do. These are the little ones, and you can buy 10 of them for cheap. Well, if you do 5 of these, you're going to get 15 amps, right? 5 times 3 is 15 amps potentially. But everybody was saying what will happen is the electricity from one of these will flow backwards through the other ones, and blah blah blah, and quivering noise or voltage, quiver voltage noise or something. I can't remember all the terms that were used, right? But the danger in doing this, supposedly from what I understand, is that like if this one is putting out a little bit more electricity than these other ones, the electricity flows backwards and it blows these things up. These things get super hot and they melt down and start to fire and you have trouble. So I read, again, I did a bunch of research on this, and they said there's something called a current limiter and blah, 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 blah. If anybody knows anything about this, please comment in the comments of this video to help me out. But from what I could kind of find is this is doable. It's just tricky. It's dangerous. And then there's like other parts that are required here, and the parts get expensive, and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not doing that. I'm not going to attempt this. This is a big circle with a strike through. We'll go like this. We'll do circle. Push that to the back, and then we'll do a strike through because I'm not doing that. It seems way too dangerous. Okay, so this is what my test is. This is what I'm now. If somebody comments, hey, you could do this, and I'll tell you how to do it in time. I've bought these HP server power supplies, the 92% efficient. I got these already. These connectors I got, the breakout boards I got, the cabling and the connectors and all that stuff are on the way. They're being shipped. These, like I said, these traditional PSUs that are the garbage ones, I got probably 10 of these or more. And I want to resell these, right? They're garbage for me, but because these GPUs suck so much power. What did I say? 1.2 kilowatts right now on just couple rigs that I'm pulling off. So anyway, that's what I plan on doing. That's my electrical stuff, okay? That's the electrical discussion. Anybody, please, I'm begging for help, anyone who has knowledge. And Eric, I'm going to exclude you. So if you make any comments, I'm not going to listen to you. Okay, so let's go back here real quick. And there's something I want to share just briefly, okay? I'm switching tabs and stuff. You'll have to excuse me because this is not, it's not a polished, fluid presentation. It never will be either because I'm doing multiple things. Yeah, I got this up already. Good. So Cryptoponics. So crypto is the cryptocurrency. It's the mining. It's the computer part of it, okay? Now, the ponics part is aquaponics, and I've been designing this aquaponics system for quite a while now. And my aquaponics design is different than anybody else's, and I will give you the overhead view. We'll walk through the overhead view real briefly, and I'm not going to spend more than 2 minutes on this, so I got to be quick. So what you're looking at here is the this area here is where the fish will live. Okay, so this is you're looking from the top down, and this is where the fish will live. And nobody that designs like this, but I'm going to. And what I'm going to have is over here is a small little fish compartment, and then when the fish get older, there's a little door that I can open here, and the little fish get to live over here. Then they grow till they're bigger, right? And so here's the next fish growth compartment. And once they get too big for this, every 9 weeks you shift them to the next one. The purple is a little door, and the fish get put into this next one. The dashed line is not solid, so the fish now they live in this one. There's like there's netting. There's netting on PVC, a PVC frame that I build, and so the fish live here for 9 weeks. So they live in the first tank for 9 weeks. They live in the second tank that's divided with PVC piping with netting. They live in here for 9 weeks. They get shuffled over here for 9 weeks, and then they get shuffled into this big one for 9 weeks. And the reason the tanks get bigger is because the fish get bigger, right? So these blue things are water circulators. So they run off of oxygen, air. Dude, all knows you're making flying cars or a time machine. Eric, I love having you in this stream, by the way. Thank you for coming. So these blue things are circulators. Oh, I'm not getting such a good view on this. Why not? Okay, I gotta stay view. I'm sorry about that. I gotta zoom out a little more. So I just looked up at the screen and it wasn't giving the full view. So there's compartments on this. You can see my mouse. I'm outlining the first little compartment is where the little fish live. Then after 9 weeks, they get put into this next compartment. After 9 weeks, they get put in this next compartment. This is top-down view. And after 9 more weeks, they get put into this compartment, okay? And then after 9 weeks, after they live here, I created a tank called the Final Countdown, okay? So I'm going to net these fish, the big ones, and they're going to go, this is the makeup water. So all the fresh water that I'm putting into the system comes into this Final Countdown tank, right? And so the tilapia fish are going to be netted out of here, and half of them are going to be put in here, and I'll put them in here for approximately 7 days, okay? So this is for clean out. So they're going to live in here, and this is fresh, clean water. This water is going to be continuously pumped over to this tank for makeup water because you got evaporation and other losses, right? So the fish will live here, and then I'm literally going to slaughter, I think it's like 85 fish. So I'll be able to harvest 85 tilapia out of this tank. When I harvest those fish, I'm going to freeze them and smoke them and do other things. I'm going to do all types of crazy things with these tilapia. And then once I get them out of there and I harvest them, right, then I can take the next half of the fish and put them over into this Final Countdown. These blue things, I'm going to have like a lot of water flowing, circulating in here. So the fish have like, they got to swim and they got to use their muscles and they got it, right? So it's trying to get the fat converted into muscular, fish meat. Okay. Now, so that's kind of the fish plan. Okay. So the fish, you got the small fish, you got the next size fish, you got the third size fish and the fourth size fish. And then half of them are taken out. They're put in the poor fishes now. Yeah. The fish are going to get eaten every 9 weeks. I'm going to have a batch of fish getting eaten. So you take half the fish out, boom, harvest them. You take the other half the fish, put them in there. Once these fish come over, then the next batch can move over here, and you just shuffle the fish from the different places, right? If a fish gets sick at any point, which these fish, they can get sick. And I'm not an expert. This is called aquaculture, okay? I'm not an expert aquaculturist, but I've stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. Fishes are really tasty, though. Oh, that's exactly why. This is all, Eric, you're going to have to watch my video. about why I'm doing this, right? I'm doing this because I'm going to be growing fish and I'm going to be growing vegetables, right? And it's all about eating healthy, right? So that's what this is about for me. I'm tired of buying vegetables from the grocery. So anyway, so I got my fish kind of planned. Now, most people, no, I haven't seen anybody, nobody does it this way. So I got a brand new approach that I'm going to say has never been tried, okay? And I got to keep this thing zoomed out more. I apologize in the video that I'm going to have to figure this out too, why it's not capturing my entire screen. This is my first stream from a new computer, so you have to forgive me, okay? Okay, so I said 2 minutes and it's way past 2 minutes already. So the water, the clean water, we'll call it the clean water, from this big fish tank is going to overflow through these pipes here into what I call a radial flow filter. It's a settling tank. So this is a tank. I literally designed this tank. I don't want to show you the equations right now, but I designed this tank so that all particles bigger than 40 micrometer, they're gonna fall. All particles bigger, 40 micrometer or bigger, will fall out in this tank. Okay, that's the size of this tank. So you got all the fish that are pooping and they're creating all this garbage over here, right? And that's the goal. They're supposed to be pooping, and out of their gills comes ammonia and different things that need to be converted into nitrates, right? So my plan is to have the clean stuff come through here, flow into this next tank. The dirty stuff is going to flow into this, I'm going to call it a sump right here. And then every so often I'm going to have, this is all going to be computerized, by the way. And I don't have all that drawn and scheduled and detailed in here, but every so often the computer is going to turn this lift pump on, and it's going to pump the fish crap, because this is like a sump, it's sunken down. It's going to pump the poopy stuff into a 55-gallon drum that's above this tank right here. Okay, this settling tank. It's going to pump the poopy stuff into here, into this tank, 55-gallon drum. Okay, now the settling tank that I was talking about is the clean stuff is going to flow to this connector right here. Okay, there's a connector right here, and the clean stuff is going to go out and go into what I call a bead filter. Okay, I'm making my own bead filter, which I'll show you the detail. I'm not going to show you the details now. Not enough time. I got to keep moving. This is aquaponics, by the way, or aquaculture. It's just in a way that nobody's done it before, from what I know. Anyway, so the clean stuff is going to go into this bead filter. The bead filter filters it out even finer to like 25 microns. Okay, and then from this filter, the clean stuff coming out of the filter goes to these points here, and it gets put into another settling tank, if you want to think of it that way. It's a big tank, and this stuff settles to 25 micrometers. So all of the dirty, poopy stuff falls out in this tank. So I'm putting it out in 3 places here. I'm going to disperse the clean water in 3 different places, and as the water flows this way, because this is the outlet over here, as the water flows this way, the poopy stuff falls out. Any garbage falls out. There's a sump. Oh, I forgot to mention, these are all sloped. All of these tanks, they're sloped to the sumps. So I'm going to put sand in the bottom, and they're all going to be sloped with, and they got rubber liners in here. So they'll all be sloped to the sumps, okay? Likewise, for this again, maybe it's 3 times a day, maybe it's 4 times a day, whatever it is, this poopy stuff will get pumped out, and it'll get pumped into this 55-gallon drum, right? This tank over here, the poopy stuff gets pumped out, gets pumped into the 55-gallon drum. So this 55-gallon, the brown lines are the poopy lines with the fish poop and, the heavier stuff. And this 55-gallon drum is on the top of it. It's going to be taking all the bad stuff into it, right? I've watched video after video of these things called, again, I didn't have it centered. I apologize. There's this 55-gallon drum here. I got to look up and watch my stream. Anyway, there's tons and tons of people that have done these mineralization tanks. I got a really good design on that. Let me show you from the side view. This is going to be what my mineralization tank looks like right here. This is going to be the 55-gallon drum. This is going to feed in. I'm going to have automated valves that computers are going to control these different valves. It's going to flow into this tank, and it's the garbage, the poop is going to get recirculated around and around with air, tons of air. And as it gets recirculated around, it breaks it down, okay? While I'm over here, I could show you a picture of my bead bed real quick. It's still kind of rough. I got to clean some stuff up yet, but effectively the poopy water is going to the clean water is going to come in the bottom here. It flows up through. I got like a filter up here. It flows through, and then it goes this way. And then I'm going to recycle the beads and clean them every so often. So that's that. Okay. What else do I have here? I got the mineralization tank. I just talked about that. I got to make sure I keep the stuff on the left. I need one of these products. Well, Eric, so what I want to tell you is nobody's built one like this before. This is a creation of my own, right? And it's my craziness. I'm a chemical engineer. I'm an inventor. I create things, and I think I'm almost done too. But I think this is going to work, and we'll see how good it works, right? So I don't think I ever finished talking about sick fish. Any sick fish in the 4 stages of fish life, or 5 stages even with the rinse out, I'm creating a med bay here. So the way you cure sick fish, especially tilapia. I once won a fish in a carnival game. Oh, where you throw the ping pong balls, and the fish lived for 4 years. Oh my God, that's a huge. Was it one of those beta? What are they called? The fighting beta fish or whatever, or was it just a goldfish? So any sick fish that gets sick, I'm going to put in what I call the med bay. Okay, and one of the ways to treat sick fish is to use. I'm not going to use any pesticides or herbicides, or I'm going to isolate them first thing. And they say use salt water. What type of fish was it, Eric? You use salt water. So I'll put the fish, any sick fish, they'll go in the med bay here. And I think this can hold up to 5 fish, I think is what I calculated. Potentially up to 11. But I'll put them in here. I'm going to turn the water salty and let them live here for a while. And hopefully they get cured, right? If I have to ultimately just whack them with its tail. Not sure what that means. Oh, there's another line. Well, every time my dad bought another fish, I killed it the next day. Oh, jeez. So you're cracking me up. I'm so happy you're here, Eric, because it's making me laugh. So the med bay is where the sick fish are going to go, right? And then final countdown is where they're going. And these were names I'm going to change. You'll see I changed these names. Final countdown is where the fish are going to be purged of any toxic, they're going to be purged of all this stuff, right? So they're going to have really fresh, clean water here. Fresh water is going to come make up in here, and then it's going to overflow for makeup to the fish tanks, right? So, and I don't have the rest of this drawn out yet, but the water from this last 25 micrometer tank, the clean water is going to come out. It's going to go through 4 anaerobic filters I'm designing. And then after that, it's going to go through 4 aerobic filters I'm designing. So there's anaerobic. This is where the denitrifying and nitrifying bacteria live, okay? And again, I've done tons and tons of reading. I'm going to valve this up. I'm going to have valves so I can bypass the denitrifying filters. I'll be able to bypass them 100%. I got drawings down here with side views, okay? So I got side view drawings. I'm not going to get into that, but from an overhead view, you're going to be able to bypass the denitrifying, have everything go to the nitrifying, or some go here, some go there. You'll be able to throttle and change it, right? Out of these filters, this is where the bacteria, they're converting all of the ammonia gets converted into nitrites. The nitrites get converted into nitrates. Some of that happens in the filter here. Some of it's going to be happening in the tanks. It's going to be happening everywhere, but the bulk of it's going to be here, and that's why I have 4 of these. I can shut any one down and clean it, or and keep the other ones running, et cetera, et cetera. Out of here, the water is then going to flow. Do I have my filters? No. I don't have my filters from overhead view. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Yes, I do. No, I don't. I'll just go to the side view. Out of those filters, it's going to flow into what I call grow beds. Okay? The grow beds are, there's going to be, I think they call this deep water culture. DWC is what the term I think is that used here. And don't, you got to ignore these elevations. This is still, I have weeks worth of work yet. I got to calculate all the hydraulics. I've been calculating pressure drops and all the hydraulics, the fluid flow in every pipe. Again, I'm an engineer. Oh crap, I meant my fish killed it. My bad. Oh, your fish, gotcha, but it turned white. Gotcha. Anyway, so coming out of the filters, it's going to go through the grow beds. Now, the grow beds, I'm not exactly sure. I have to do some more research on yet because I don't want to just grow lettuce, right? From what I've seen is these types of grow beds are really good at growing lettuce, and leafy greens is what they call it, okay? But I want to grow peppers, I want to grow tomatoes, I want to grow cucumbers, I want to grow peas, I want to grow some beans, I want to grow every vegetable. Cantaloupe, I actually saved some cantaloupe seeds that I've dried out. I fermented them and dried them. Acorn squash, I got some of those seeds that I'm working on right now. So I have to figure out exactly what this piece looks like, but I'm going to have grow beds plus some other stuff potentially, okay? And then from the grow beds, and again, this is a work in progress, so you can't take it for what it is, but from the grow beds, I'm going to have some type of sump that I will pump the water back to the fish tank, okay? It's going to get pumped back to the fish tank, and, you know, it's going to come in here. No, it's not going to come in there. It's going to come in this side of the fish tank. Okay, I don't even have that on here. So on this side of the fish tank, the water is going to be pumped back in over here, and it's going to be circulated around and around and around in this portion. So anyway, I think this has been a very, very long video. It's been my first video. It's a complex problem, right? And I have a lot of work left to do. What I need help on is the electrical problem I was talking about first, but I wanted to also, so crypto is the crypto. Now, I plan on using, okay, let me show you, I'll show you. There's so much fun stuff. I could go on for hours and hours and hours, but I got to wrap this up soon. I see watermelon. Oh, absolutely I want to grow watermelon. Thank you for mentioning that. So let me turn that off real quick, and let me come over here, and how do I turn it? Come on. Nope, I don't want that. I want, turn that off. That's my ending video. Come on now, where are you? Got to be here. Okay, here it is. So one of the things I plan on using crypto for, one of the things, okay, and it's just one of the things, I mean, it's a little thing, right, is I'm going to enter every fish into the blockchain. So the way crypto works is it creates what's called a blockchain, and the blockchain is, I think it's called immutable. You can't change the blockchain. It's a peer-to-peer network. And all of the computers on the network create the blockchain, okay? Now, you can put information into the blockchain, and it's a secure place to put the information, and it'll never be changed, okay? So what I did is I created a fish naming system. Hey, you can call me crazy, okay? So every fish that I'm going to raise will be put into the blockchain. And when you eat the fish, you'll be able to go into the blockchain. You'll be able to go to a website, type in the fish's blockchain, his name, okay? And you'll be able to see everything that happened in that fish's life from the time he was a little fish to the time you're eating him, okay? So every time the fish is fed, it's going to be that information, how much was the feeding, when was the feeding, that's going to be entered into the blockchain. I'm going to weigh the fish probably on a weekly basis, but we'll see. We'll have to determine what that's actually going to be. But all that information is going to be put in the blockchain. The water temperature, the pH, the total dissolved solids. Everything is going to be put into a cryptocurrency blockchain. Now, to do this, I had to figure out how to tag fish. So I did some research on tagging fish, and I found out that different ways to tag fish. So I want to create the tags as small as possible. So what I did was, Eric says, wait, what are you talking about? So what I did is I created a naming system, a base 96 naming system, okay? So the way that numbers work is you take the base, is it the base raised to the power? So if I say equal 96, because I got a base 96 system raised to 2, yeah. So what I did is I said, all of these symbols here, I'm not going to go through, well, I can go through them all. Here's different unique symbols that we can name a fish with, right? These are all unique symbols. And then there's symbols, and then there you see 1 through 9, right? Or I didn't do 1 because 1 can be confused with L, and I didn't do 0 because it could be confused with O. So I got rid of those and I used these special symbols. But there's 96, I just went fast. There's 96 unique characters here. I do smaller a to upper A and to Z's, and there's 96 names here, okay? 96 characters, right? And if you do 96 characters and you have 96 unique characters, and you do 2 of them together, so a fish name is exclamation, exclamation, that's a fish name, right? If you do 2 names, 96 unique characters with 2 names, two characters per name, gives you 9,216 unique fish names, okay? So when a fish gets sick, I'm going to enter into the blockchain exclamation D, and then I'll have a code for sickness. You know what I mean? That fish got sick. So if he recovers and he lives, when he dies, I'll have a code for dying, right? When he lives, I'll have a code for living, right? So if you're eating that fish, ultimately, if he recovers and he heals up fine, you can look back and say, oh, he was sick from the 3rd of May until the 7th of May. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be able to look up the history of the fish you're eating. And everything about them, water temperature, pH, total dissolved solids, dissolved oxygen levels, everything about I'm going to enter everything into the blockchain, everything I can, right? So anyway, now you say, well, what about once you have more than 9,216 fish? So I thought about this. I was like, okay, so if I raise 900 fish a year, that gives me 10 years, right? But you got to think big, right? So I came in and I said, now these 9,216 fish names, just so you know, I took all of these and I put them into Microsoft Word and I created tables and blah, blah, blah. And I printed them out and I shrunk the font really small. And it turned out to be 13 pages of fish names. And what I'll have to do is I'll have to cut those pieces of paper and I'm going to roll them and put them inside of a very small tube. And that little tube will have silicone adhesive put on it and attached to these fish tags that go through the fish fins. And so each fish will have a tag through his fin, real short, and on that tag will be his name. Crazy, right? Okay, so you need more fish names potentially. So what I did here is I said, well, what if I use three characters for a fish name, right? So it'd be 96 raised to the 3rd power, right? For 3 characters. And that gives me 884,736 fish names. What if the fish was alive and you eat him anyways when the machine said the fish is dead? That means the person who's running the fish farm isn't very good. Because if the fish is dead because you're eating him, but the blockchain said he was alive, it means the operator of this fish farm is falling down on his job, right? That's what it means. Now, what I plan on doing is as each fish is harvested, I can take his tag and keep the tag with the fish, if you understand what I'm saying. So when I fillet the fish, I could take and freeze those fish fillets and then keep the tag in a separate attached bag to it, right? So that we know every fish what his tag is, right? To me, this provides food security, and I say this sincerely. And maybe like sick fish. When ultimately I'm doing this to feed myself first, right? That's first and foremost. But eventually, this could turn into like a bigger thing, right? Potentially. Now, maybe fish that have gotten sick, maybe they sell for cheap. Maybe a fish that was like, if a fish was like sick 3 times in his life, maybe he's discounted, right? And maybe a fish that was never sick, he's a premium fish, so he sells for more or something. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But just stuff like that, right? So the fish naming, I have the potential, because I'm telling you, when you shrink these down, I'll have to have a jeweler's loop, because I printed them really, really small on a laser printer. These things are tiny, tiny, the names. So I'm going to be able to get really, really small tubing. That's business, Eric says. I'll be able to get really, really small tubing and attach it to these little tags, and you shoot the tag through the fin, and the fish swims around, and he doesn't even know he has something attached to him. It's so small, right? So anyway, those are my fish names. One other thing I want to show you in here real quick, just to let you know, other stuff I've been working on. I don't want to break your brain, but for example, the tilapia, I found a guy that gave the weights and sizes of his tilapia. So he measured his tilapia every week that he raised them. And so I have that actual data in here, where week 1 his fish were 3 grams, week 2 they were 5 grams. And he went through it. He weighed, these are the average weights of his fish. And I'm using this data for all of my design, right? I'm doing graphs, I'm doing calculators, I'm doing all types of crazy stuff, okay? The last thing I want to show you in here is, just briefly, parts list. So, as I've been designing these systems, I've been doing what I call a material takeoff, okay? So, every part of this, and these open up. This is Microsoft Excel, and you can open and close stuff. And I've named them all in Latin, okay? So I've changed all the names in Latin, or as close to Latin as I can get. And over on the right side, my GoFundMe page, if you go look at my GoFundMe page, you're going to see I approximate that I need 40,000 to do everything here, okay? Too late, you already broke my brain. Oh, Eric, I just love having you in stream. Thank you again. So this is my, I call it a parts list. On the bottom, I don't know if you can read that, but literally it says parts list. And I'm trying to estimate how much this thing's going to cost me, okay? So to do all this, right? So to do the crypto part of it, cryptocurrency, I want to build 2 rigs with, because I'm going to have to do a blockchain, okay? And I have to secure the blockchain, et cetera, et cetera. I want to do 2 rigs with 16 total RTX 2080 Supers. I have the cost each for the base price and with tax. So I put tax in here, and then I got other notes on here and stuff like that, okay? So, and then what I do is I subtotal it all, right? So this right here is the subtotal of Excavatio, Excavatio de Secretis, which is the mining of secrets, or mining of cryptographic algorithms. So it's Latin for mining of secrets, which is the closest I could get to mining rigs. Yeah, man, when I have time, I'll watch your vids every chance I get. Watched you when I was 11. Yeah, I know. You've been, and I've loved having you ever since the beginning. I love your sense of humor, and it's entertaining. So in my parts list, what you'll see is mining rigs account for, and I don't know the percentage, but it's a pretty pricey tag, hefty tag there, right? Now, you say, well, why is, it's called Cryptoponics, right? So why is crypto important? Well, it secures the blockchain. And I'm not going to go through all the other things I'm doing with crypto until I'm ready to unveil it all, right? Because I want to develop this more, and I don't want people jumping in my space, if you will, okay? Hotel Piscis. What that means in Latin is fish home. It's a fish hotel. That's the place where the fish live, the big fish tank, right? With the 4 places where fish live. Right now, the total cost of that area is $844. So that's pretty cheap for that big area. This is where all of the fish live. And I clicked on the wrong button here. Excuse me, I got to go down underneath. I got to keep remembering that. And that isn't where I wanted to click either. This is where I wanted to click. So what I've been doing here is Hotel Piscis is the fish hotel. I started creating part numbers, so everything's going to have a part number. And then you can see internal 20-foot by 13-foot internal liner. I literally have a website. I went shopped it. I know exactly where I can buy it from. There's the price for it, including tax, et cetera, et cetera. Sand, you see these are color coded. So sand, I need 0.71 cubic yards of sand. $98 per cubic yard. So it's going to cost me $69. That includes delivery with tax. And so I dimensional lumber, 4x4s, 2x4s. I'm not going to have a brain when the stream ends. So I've gone through and I've specified everything I need for the fish hotel, the place where the fish live, okay? Wood glue, dowels, PVC clear hose, PVC pipe, blah. I got it all color coded. It's not finished. I got a few more things to do yet. You know what I'm saying? Zip ties for doors and netting attachment. Everything that I need to build that fish hotel is in here, and I priced it off the web using Amazon and other places, and that's the price for it, right? Now, again, this is not complete. I want to make sure that we understand that as the $40,000 that I said is a GoFundMe is approximate, right? $17,400 of it is for the excavatio de secretis, which is the mining rigs. My small brain can't handle this. Then the place that holds the fish, that's the estimate. Now, the rest of this is the 40 micrometer piscina de serenis. That's a settling tank, okay? It's a piscina is like tank of settling, tank of serenity. So it's the 40 micrometer tank of serenity. That's going to be its price when it's done. It's not. You can see it's not priced up fully yet. Then I got the 25 micrometer tank of serenity. Piscina de obitus. So this is the tank of death. The tank of death. This is what I called what did I call that tank again? I called it the final countdown. That's the tank where the fish go. Remember, half of the fish, they go to live there, and then they get harvested, and then the other half come. This is that tank, Piscina de obitus. Bellidium is the med bay. It's actually that's Latin for bathhouse. It's like the bath place, the place of baths. And historically, Romans used bathhouses as, to clean the germ, to sanitize, right? And that's what. So the fish are going to go, if they get sick, they go to the Bellidium to get healed. Filtrare de rotundus. It's the filter of rounds. It's the bead filter. Mineralium. It's the mineralization filter. Okay. Gosh, I have to remember what these are. Adamo morum emantado. I don't remember. These are the filters. These are the filters of the aerobic filters. So these are the aerobic filters. These are the anaerobic filters. And what I like about doing this is it challenges me to even remember more, right? I have to remember the Latin for it. These are filters. This is the love, Adamo. Adamo means love of air. Odium means hate of air. So anaerobic is the hate of air. And then morum emantado means filter. Conservatory. This is lots of fun, isn't it? I can't even remember what that one stands for. I'm going to have to figure that one out. I don't know what it is right now. You can see I have nothing in there. Locus de Crescentia, I don't know what that is. It's blank right now. Yeah, I'll have to figure out what those are. I can't remember the Latin for them. And that's part of the challenge of this, right? Make it fun while you're doing this. Allo and Alien Sistema Apparatum. So this is, oh yeah. This is the solar. No. Oh, this is computers. Yeah, this was computers. No, I keep clicking the wrong thing there. This was computers. Yeah, I'll have to reverse look that up. I know the Alien Sistema Apparatum was computers. That was the closest way I could say computers in Latin, and I can't remember what allo stands for. Licentia is a license. I gotta get an exotic species license for Texas in order to raise tilapia. It costs $263. But you have to get a license in order to raise tilapia in Texas. So Licentia, I remember that one. And then Sistema Solare is a system of solar, right? And I put it here, stretch goal. Somebody said to me, well, why don't you run it all off of solar, okay? So what this is I say stretch goal, it's not necessary. And if I don't, this will be the last thing I do, right? Is if I don't reach my GoFundMe goal, if I don't reach that goal, then this gets nixed. This gets nixed off the list. And I wouldn't do this, how do I phrase this? If I can do a solar system to run this whole entire system off of solar, that would be cooler than cool, right? So it would be like totally, I'm not even using electricity, and you know what I mean? How cool would that be, right? But that costs money, right? I looked it up. There's a website. There's a website over here, right here, solarestimate.org, solar panels, Houston, Texas, which is where I live. And the estimate to cover this would be $18,000 to cover this system, so it could run on a complete solar system. Sistema Solare. And I say it with my Italian accent, which Italian and Latin, who knows what they sounded like, right? But that gives me my solar system to provide all the energy to run this. Now, if I reach that funding goal, one of the things, and this is what I see, I have to keep all this in my brain, right, is up here under the evacuation de secretus, the mining rigs, I put in 1 year's worth of electricity as a cost line item up here, which is $4,000, right? $3,793 of electricity. Now, these are all driven by formulas, right? So if you change the type of graphics card, you change the wattage, it updates. I would give you the money, but I'm a broke boy. Part of this, Eric, is smashing like on the videos, putting some comments in there, helping me grow this channel, right? And watching the videos and throwing a comment in there. You know how YouTube works, right? And the bigger the audience I get, and I'm working hard on getting crowdfunding. I'm not going to be taking this mildly, because I want to do all this stuff, but all this stuff costs a lot of money. So at the end of the day, and I don't have this whole estimate done, but what you could see is the mining rigs, which is the crypto part, and the solar system account for $35,500, right, of the total proposal so far. Now, again, I want you to understand, most of these aren't fully developed yet, right? But these are going to be minor compared to, this is the big ticket item and this is the big ticket item. So, one comment equal $1. I wish. Can I spam comments? No, can I ask you just to give me a comment because you like me? So you see here and what I'm going to do is so for example, where's my bead filter? Filtrare de rotundus. I've ordered some of this stuff already. So the beads for this, I've ordered already. I paid for them out of my pocket already, right? Now, what I want to do is I can't pay for everything, and I have to finish the design. But I mean, if I want to do crypto and I want to secure the fish, if I want to secure the fish in the blockchain, I have to have mining rigs. Now, one of the things I thought about was giveaways, right? What can I give away? So I can give away crypto that's mined, right? If I'm mining crypto, that has a value, so I can literally give that away to my supporters, okay? Fish, I can give fish away to supporters. Now, I'm not sure I could ship fish across the country, but for people that live somewhat locally to me, they could come pick fish up, right? Veggies, I definitely could give veggies away because I'm gonna be growing fish and veggies. And then merch. I also, Eric, I don't know if you want to help me, but I need help. I need assistance. That's the other thing. I need you. Maybe you can't donate, money, but maybe you could help me develop a merch store, right? So one of the things I was thinking about is, what do I do as giveaways? Well, I can mine crypto, right? And then convert that crypto into fiat currency, right? And then use the fiat currency to buy merch to give away to supporters, if you understand what I'm saying. So it's, and I need people to help me develop all this. I would like to have this video, anyone who's made it this far into the video, you're hardcore. Okay, that's the first thing I'll say. You're hardcore for watching this far, but I need people to help me with this type of stuff. Is I need a merch store. I need I need goals, right? I need to come up with. I need social my crowdfunding. I need help with crowdfunding. And Eric, if you want to help, it sounds like you do. If you go to, and I keep saying so much, I'm sorry about that. If you go to the About tab, you can get my email, and you can email me directly, and then we could start, or we could converse in Discord. I'm not that smart. You don't have to be that smart. So I'm not asking you to design my Cryptoponics system, right? You could look at it. You could say, anyway. I'm not asking people to design my Cryptoponics system. That's kind of on me, right? But all of this other stuff takes work, right? It takes coordination. Right now, I'm only on GoFundMe right now, right? I haven't gone to the other crowdfunding websites because I wanted to develop this a little more fully before I start publicizing, right? Now, you're going to say, oh, but you publicized on GoFundMe and you publicized on YouTube and I did. You got to start somewhere, but I don't want to go full out yet. I want to just do it small until, like I said, see this list here? This list right here it still needs a lot of work, and this is what I have to do. This is what I've been doing, right? But instead of doing this, I've been doing videos and I've been doing other things, right? It's been distracting me. And like my goals, you can see I got a lot of goals. I got to do some pump studies. I got to do one of my goals is to have lowest cost per pound of fish. So I want to for my aquaponics system, for my aquaculture, I actually want to produce fish cheaper than anyone else in the world, right? It's one of my goals. And for people that have fish in tanks, I'll say it that way, because there's people that have like fish in the ocean. I can't compete with that. Or they have ponds, right? Fish in a pond. I can't compete with that. What I'm talking about is suburban aquaculture. You know what I'm saying? So, but like this list of goals, I mean, this can be, a person can help with this list of goals. You know what I'm saying? Shopping, I got my shopping lists. That's just when I get links, I put it in here. I got lots of stuff to do. What else? Really, it's social media. It's crowdfunding. It's maybe video editing potentially. It's merch. It's running a merch store. It's watching videos and moderating. It's moderating. It's if you have Facebook or Instagram or it's posting the links and trying to get the word out so we get a bigger audience. It's all of those things, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm looking for assistance on right now. Right now I have a lot of work to do on the design still, and that's what I'm finalizing. Even like the electrical stuff, okay? The stuff I'm doing for crypto where I'm trying to design my own I'm trying to design my own, what did I call that? Let me turn this back on real quick. And we'll wrap this up in 2 minutes here, guys. And I'm going to ask you, if you're not watching on DLive, come over on DLive, because I'm literally streaming live on DLive right now, and we should be generating some Lino. When I get 5 Lino, I can give it away. We're going to watch one aquaculture video too. So this stuff right here that I'm planning on doing, as far as this, I searched the internet. I can't find anything related to this on the internet, right? So, okay, I could give you shout outs. That would be perfect. And let's talk. I don't know how involved you want to be, Eric, but I can make you a moderator, and I can, we could talk about things that potentially you can help with, you know what I mean? Like a merch store. I mean, I started researching merch stores and creating, I don't know how artistic you are, right? But seeing a logo and saying, hey, it'd be cool, like, just even that stuff is like creating logos and blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of work, you know what I mean? And those are the types of people I'm looking to try to help this all, right? So, but what I was saying here is like this, if I solve this problem, if I'm able to solve it without blowing up my computers, right? This is going to help the cryptocurrency community huge. This will help them hugely. And when I say hugely, I have 10 of these, right? And let's say that each one can sell for $30. Let's just take a low number. I talked to my oldest son and he said, oh, $30 to $40 you could sell them for, Dad. And let's say I sell them for $30. If I got 10 of them, I sell them for $30. That's $300 I can use for my Cryptoponics. You know what I mean? No, I understand that, Eric, and I'm not looking for 24/7. It's not a job. It's a help as you can kind of thing. If you can put 1 hour in a month, that's more than zero. You know what I'm saying? And this isn't going to be. I don't envision this being unless we get a bunch of supporters and donators and helpers. I think this is going to be maybe like a 6 to 9 month project at a minimum. And if I say that, you know what that means? It means it's going to be 12 to 18 months minimum, because I'm always like at least half wrong. So my point being is, if I solve this problem, this doesn't help just me. I'm going to make videos on this, and I'm going to show people how to do this, and they'll be able to operate more efficiently, if you understand what I'm saying. So it'll help, right? If I solve other problems, it's going to help the aquaponics community, et cetera, et cetera. So my page is educational as much as it is, anything else. So I'm also developing a fish weighing system here. It doesn't look like much right now, but I'm trying to devise a system. I've been kind of thinking in my head, this is a fish, this little guy here. But I was thinking about, how can I net a fish, take him out of the water just a little bit. I have to read his tag, right? Net him, read his tag, and weigh him, and put him back in the water quickly, right? So, because you want to, and I'm not going to weigh every fish every time, right? But the ones I do weigh, I want to enter into the blockchain, right? So, anyway, let's wrap this up. So and Eric, I appreciate you hanging around for this has been so awesome having you here. So let's go to this video here. Now, this is so much what aquaponics is about, in my opinion, is you get people that make stuff like this, and it takes effort. But this guy, there's this thing called vertical hydroponics, which what you do is you grow your vegetables. He pumps water through here for demonstration, but in real, you would be pumping your fish water through here that's rich with nitrates, okay? So the water up here that comes out of this thing would be rich in nitrates, and then it goes down the pipe, and you're going to see it goes down, but it'll be water that's rich in nitrates, and your plants will go in these places, okay? And the plant roots will grow in here, and as the water flows over, the roots grab the nitrates and they convert it into plants. So that's really what we're talking about. The plants, hydroponic, aquaponic, hydroponic is using chemical fertilizers. I say chemical. It's using water plus fertilizer, whether it's a natural fertilizer or man-made fertilizer. I'm not, people want to use natural, obviously, but I don't think hydroponics differentiates, right? So hydroponic means using water plus chemicals to grow vegetables, right? Aquaponics means you're using fish to use the fish waste that gets converted into nitrates and nutrients, and those come down in here, right? And then I'm doing cryptoponics, which, big brain thinking right there. I'm doing cryptoponics, which is using aquaponics plus the cryptocurrency, crypto mining / benefit of it, okay? So we're going to watch, I want to watch this little video just to show you what this guy did. It's pretty cool. I want to do this, right? I want to do some of this because the other thing I was thinking is on the top of this, if I extend the pipe further up, have the water come out here, right? Water still comes out here. You'd cut slits in the pipe, but have the pipe come up more and then suspend it. And I want mine to rotate, put a gear on the top of this, and the gear would be hooked up to a chain, and you could have 20 of these in a line. And imagine you had a little motor running a chain and 20 of these would be rotating, right? Because the sun comes from one direction, right? And if you could rotate this thing slowly, not fast. I mean, you don't want to like spin so the vegetables are flying. so the vegetables are flying out. That'd be like crazy town, right? But just imagine if this pipe came up more and you had slits cut out so the water came out here, right? And then the pipe went up another foot and a half, and somehow that pipe was suspended on a bearing, and there was a gear put around it, and then you had a bunch of these in a row and a motor at the end of it and a chain or a belt or a chain. Maybe a belt would be better, I don't know, or a rubber gasket kind of thing, right? And a motor would turn and it would rotate all these. Now again, you would have to step the motor down because you wouldn't want these to turn. I mean, maybe you would want it to do one revolution per 30 minutes or something, or maybe 20 minutes, right? Or 10 minutes, one revolution per 10 minutes maybe. But, and then you'll see a bucket on the bottom of his. Maybe instead of having a bucket, you have a trough, right? And the water runs down into the trough. And so the water coming in is coming from the fish tank, right? And the water goes down into a trough, and then it goes back to the fish tank because the nutrients will be depleted as it flows down here. Okay? So that's kind of, I saw this, and those were the thoughts I had. This is what happens with my brain when I see stuff. But this guy, you'll see, and he's I'm pretty sure he's a foreigner. His comments, he's kind of, and I'm going to skip through. We're not going to watch this in too much detail, but we'll watch bits and pieces, and I'll show you how cool it is. He makes this by hand. And people, the other thing I wanted to say too is, I'll scroll down, people are just so rude. Wait a minute. Like one guy says, I would cut this video by half. Come on now. Although I like criticism too, right? Another guy talked about, thanks a lot, but that soundtrack really sucks. It's so annoying. And he's got 19, thanks a lot, man, but that soundtrack really sucks. It's so annoying. Come on, really? Music is a preference, right? And I kind of scrolled through, and there was quite a few comments like that were rude to him, so I apologized to him. I love what he did, okay? So let's go through it. We'll watch this just a little bit, little pieces. He's showing the water kind of flowing down. It's really kind of interesting. The music, yeah, I'm not a big fan, but it's his choice, right? So you see how the water kind of gurgles down and it's hidden, going left and right, right? I'll fast forward. So look at how nice he does this. He goes through and he literally shows you, I'm measuring 10 centimeters. Okay? He measures 10 centimeters and then he goes 15 centimeters. Oh, there was a person that said something in here. I want to get that documented about spiral. Yeah, somebody said in here, I wouldn't put the holes above each other. I would spiral them to match the common phyllotaxy found in nature of 137.5 degrees. Okay? I don't even know what this means. And this is what I'm saying, Eric. I got to go research what phyllotaxy means, okay? But so reckless rogues said, and they say, oh, great idea, blah, 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 blah. It's relative to a tornado, blah. But I got to go research this now, right? Because if I do this, what they're saying is the way he does it, he does 7.5 centimeters from each other. He does, watch. Okay, so he comes down from that line. These lines are 7 meters long, and then he comes down 7.5 centimeters. He puts a line. Now, what somebody was saying is you're supposed to do it in a spiral of 137.5 degrees, according to phyllotaxy. So I'll have to figure that. I got to research that, right? But this is a great video. Look at him. He's showing you how to make this cool thing, right? And people are saying about the bugs on the screen. They wanted to flick them off their phone. You can see bugs running around on the screen. So he goes down, he takes and he measures the length of this PVC pipe's 100 centimeters. And he shows you, oh, it's 100. I mean, look at this. So he goes through the video and he goes through, it shows all the cutting. Let me show the first cut again, because I think he shows the length on it. Yeah, see, so here he says, oh, he cuts 7 centimeters. Very detailed, very detailed. This, whoever, let me look up his name real quick again. Petani is trying to, he's trying to educate, he's trying to help. And this is what I want to do, right? So the people that come after me don't have to reinvent the wheel. And if I could take Petani's idea, and somebody talked about the 137 degree angle thing, and I'll have to figure all that out, right? And then we'll have to flick these little bugs off the screen. But he shows you all his cuts, right? So then watch. Then he shows himself, oh, here's how I heat it. I watched this whole video. And you can see he heats it up with a heat gun. Look, if you look here, he's heating it up with a heat gun, and he can push and actually bend the PVC pipe a little bit, right? He's bending the PVC pipe. See, it moves when he pushes it, right? And then he takes a bottle. He takes a glass Coke bottle. What type of bottle? Let's see. You can kind of see, I can't see what exact bottle it is, but you know, you can test it. It's a glass bottle, and he sticks it in the hole, and he holds it for a while, then he wipes it with a cloth to cool it down, and he does the next. And you can imagine doing all these slices. It takes quite a while. You know what I'm saying? And people are saying, oh, I can cut the video in half. Of course you can cut it in half. He said, watch me do this. Let me show you how to do. I appreciate this. How many ounces did that say? Did that say how many ounces? 220 milliliters. Okay, that's a 220 milliliter bottle. I'll have to convert that. Anyway, he shows you. So here he has the thing finally made, and then he takes it and he sticks it on a PVC pole that comes up from the bottom. So there's a PVC pole. This is a bucket. He has a bucket. Now this is what I'm saying. I could put a trough down here and have another bearing at the bottom or some type of thing where it turns on. And so these could be turning on a gear or a pulley system to where I'm equalizing the sunshine, right? So, and again, so here what he did is, this is like a 4-inch cap. This is a 4-inch pipe. He took a 4-inch cap. See, he has tapered holes. I mean, I love the detail he showed. These aren't just straight holes. These are tapered holes, okay? So he wants the water to flow through all of them equally is what he's trying to do. I can tell you that right now. And then here, look at how he cut. You know, he's using primitive tools and not using the best things. And you know what I mean? You can see gaps in here and maybe put some silicone adhesive. But then I also argue that you would extend the pipe another 2 feet up and put some type of bearing up top with some type of gear or pulley system that it can be rotated, right? Wouldn't that be cool? So I'll have to document that in my video, and nobody will make it this far, so it's a unique idea for me. So he goes through. Now he puts a pump. So he's putting a pump, a little pump. He puts it in the bucket. It's a little water pump, submersible, and he says, "Oh, I'm using 1/4 inch PVC pipe to flow water up the water pump. I use 1/4 inch PVC pipe." And again, he showed. Look at. I mean, it's not the fanciest thing on the planet, but I love it. I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. You can hear children and cars in the background of his video. So he sticks the green thing on top of it. He sticks the pipe through the green thing. He sticks the pipe on top of the pump. He puts water in it. He puts the tube in there. He sets it up, gets it in there, and now he turns the pump on. It starts flowing water, and it flows down the holes, and it splashes down the entire column. And you can see little drips of water falling out of this thing, right? You can see a little flip, flip, flip. See water kind of flicking out. Now, once you got plants in here and they're growing, you're not going to get that. Now, he also shows he makes some. I think they're called net pots. He takes plastic cups and he cuts little slits in them, and you put the plants in here, and the plant roots grow through and they get nutrients through there. It's so awesome. This is aquaculture. Well, this is hydroponics. This is not aquaculture. What he's doing is aquaponics. So he'll put fertilizer down in the bucket at a certain concentration, and then he'll grow strawberries here. So I love what he did here. I think I gave him a thumbs up already. Oh, I didn't. Okay. I need to give him a thumbs up. I think I watched a different, I know I did. I watched a different account is what happened. So give him a thumbs up. Come on, what's happening there? Okay. So, that's Cryptoponics. And if your head doesn't hurt by now, you got problems. So, thanks to Petani Kota for thanks for the video, because that's a cool thing he shared with the community. Maybe I should give him a quick note. Well, I'll do that after I get my video down. So, shared parts of your video on hashtag Cryptoponics channel. Shared parts of your video on Cryptoponics channel on YouTube, Twitch, and DLive. Love what you did. And had a couple of additional ideas. Very nice. So we'll take the time to do that, right? Shared parts of your video on Cryptoponics channel on YouTube, Twitch, and DLive. Love what you did and had a couple of additional ideas you might think about. There we go. I'll give him a big fat smiley face. And Eric says, don't worry, his brain's going to hurt for a while. Let me give this guy a comment, because I really, when I saw his video, that's why I had, I was really impressed with what he did. And this is the core of Cryptoponics, is when I can make towers like this. Imagine, oh my God, no, come on. That's not right. This is not right. Bananas. There's no grapes. Grapes farm in Japan. How to make what? Are you kidding me? Awesome aquaculture. You can grow bananas. There's a Cavendish banana you can grow in there. I mean, imagine how awesome that would be. Shit. Clone plant. There's so much to learn in aquaculture and hydroponics and cryptoponics, and it's oh God, I've opened 40,000 cans of worms. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up, Eric, because I think I'm out of things to talk about. I've covered that. For today, I'm going to cover more stuff. One last thing I want to do real quick. We'll take a look at does that pull up? It sure does. It sure does. How nice is that? We'll take a look at Coinmarketcap. We'll see where Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is at 8,700. Ouch. Ouch. It's still down 2.7. You can see the screen is mostly red. The Cardano is up. That's weird. Link chain is up. And these are tokens. These are not mineable. The asterisk means it's a token. It's not a mineable coin. So I can't put my mining rigs on it. Most everything on here is a token. Dash is down. US dollar coin is, these are what's called stable coins. So it can't change. Decrypt, what? Holy crap! Look at Decred. What's going on there? I'm gonna have to do some investigation. But this is a I'm almost positive that this is a what are they called? The Antminer type things. They're ASICs. I'm almost positive Decred is ASIC only. Let me look that up real quick. Is Decred an ASIC coin? Because what's happening is Decred's a popular coin, but there hasn't been much of a push to make ASIC for it publicly. What? Okay, it sounds... Halong recently burst on the market with their Bitcoin miner and quickly announced miners for SIA, Decred, and Kryptonite ASIC. So it sounds like let the Decred ASIC mining begin. Okay, so what's the date on this article? So it is a ASIC coin. Let the Decred ASIC mining begin. Our review of the Dragon Mint B29 Blake 256, April 8th. So it's been, oh God, it's been mined by ASICs for a long time. Because that price increase, though, I mean, everything else is crashing, and look back. I mean, Decred going way back, it's just climbing. I wonder what's going on there. Something weird's going on. Anyway, so we'll look up. I want to update my crypto I'm mining right now, and then we're going to log off. What do I got here? Beam is what I'm looking for. So what I'll do is I will pull up my Beam. Where's Beam? Here you are. Here's my Beam crypto pool. Again, I got 10 computers mining on this. One of the things I always look at while I'm here is you see it's 6.48 mega souls per second. And then the pool that I'm mining on has 1.36. So normally my pool has a fourth of the hash, a fourth to a third is typical, okay? Now, and this is global, so you can see the orange line is the difficulty. So the more difficult it is, the less you get. When it goes down like this, you get more coins, and then you get less coins as difficulty rises, okay? If I take 4 times 1 is 4, and then 4 times 0.3 is 1.2, so that's 5.2. So 5.2. Right now, my pool is mining a lot less than, we're mining less than a quarter, right? So then what I do is I come here, and I click on this blocks tab, and we got 27 of the last 100 blocks. So what it shows me is, even though we're not mining a quarter of the hash rate, we're actually getting, in the last 100 blocks, we're getting more than a quarter of the blocks. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm pretty happy about that, right? And in the last hour, we got 18 blocks. So you can see here, it shows you all the blocks that are pending. They're kind of green. And then the ones that are confirmed. So you see about 4 hours it takes for them to confirm, right? So in the last hour, we got 18, which that kind of represents the number that you see, right? But in the last 100 blocks, we got 27. So that's good news, right? And then let's go look up my miners. Here's my miners. Now, what I check on here is I check this always. I always look at the average, right? And then I look at the instantaneous. I'm not that worried about this number. I'm worried about this number. So the 1070 Ti should be 36, 35 point something on the minimum when difficulty gets hard. And then it goes up to close to 40-ish sometimes. This is 170 to 180 is the range. And this is definitely bigger than 110 to 120. So they're kind of running a little bit low right now. But then what I do, and you see here I got 0.96. I check that number. That's a good number. That means I'm earning really good coin right now. And 6549. So what I do, and I'll share it in a second. I copy this number, Control C, 6549. 6549. Let's get the... There we go. I think that's the one, right? Oh, it just updated. Holy crap. It went from, no, 654. Let me refresh just to make sure I got the latest numbers, because these things, I saw it flash kind of, it's all updated. So I'll copy that from my calculator, 6549. And the reason I do this is to see if I'm on track or not. You know what I'm saying? So I'll come in here. I pasted in there. 6549 was the latest number there. Bang. And you can see I'm right now, I've mined 3.6 coins since this morning. I got 0.61 of a day that I've been mining. And coins per day are 5.91. And it's green because it's more than one standard deviation above the average. So this is like one of the best mining days I've ever had right now, is what it's telling me. And you can look at the numbers real quick and you see it's true, right? So unfortunately, even with the good mining and the really bad prices, you see I got 7. Remember, this used to be $1 something, right? I'm only earning $1.07 per day after electricity. 11 cents per GPU, which is terrible. But again, my hope is one day I HODL and that changes to $1.60 again. And lo and behold, I'm making $7 per day. If this coin goes back up to $1.65, which it was back in June, it was right at this level, I'm earning $7 per day right now, which is so awesome, right? Now, again, I'm going to finish this calculator off with the, what did I say, the power supply efficiency and then the hardware replacement, because those are the two pieces that nobody ever considers, but I'm going to. Okay? Well, thank you so much, Eric. And I know I had, guess who was here early? Eric, I've talked to the others real quick, and I talked about having a Walking Dead reunion. I have not played Walking Dead the final season, and it's one of the things I want to do, right? So let's do this real quick. We're going to wrap up. I will play a finished video real quick. A finished video, listen to me. It's not finished, it's outro video. And here's my outro video. Okay, well, thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate it tremendously, and I will be streaming much more frequently, but it's going to be IRL streams. It's not going to be Let's Play. So this Cryptoponics project is something that I'm excited about. It's going to take me months and months and months to work on, and it's a very complex project. I'm looking for volunteers. I'm looking for assistance. I'm looking for crowdfunding support. Anything that you can help with, even in the littlest amount, is greatly appreciated. And more so than anything, if you can help spread the word, hit the like button, share the video somewhere, it's going to help me grow this channel into something tremendous. And we will get this project off the ground. And once I prove this technology, we will be able to bring this technology to the world on a larger scale. With the goal of producing the fish and vegetables cheaper than anybody else in the world can do it. That's my goal. So with that said, thank you so much for joining me, everybody. If anybody's watched this entire video, I know Eric has watched the vast majority of it. Thank you so much. My heart goes out to you. So thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye.